involved in organized crime here in the Tampa Bay area and in other parts of this country. The most notorious of those arrested early this morning is John A. Gotti, the son of now deceased Gambino crime family boss John J. Gotti. Mr. Gotti is charged with RICO conspiracy and specifically trafficking in more than 5 kilograms of cocaine, as well as the murders of 3 men in Queens and Manhattan back in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Those murders are detailed in the indictment. According to the RICO conspiracy, for the last 25 years, Gotti and other members of the Gambino organized crime family allegedly engaged in an array of criminal conduct, including murder, robbery, bribery, kidnapping, extortion, gambling, illegal drug trafficking, loan sharking, collecting unlawful debts, jury tampering, victim and witness tampering, burglary, home invasions, aggravated assaults and batteries, and money laundering. Mr. Gotti is charged individually in a single indictment. The second indictment charges 5 individuals with RICO conspiracy. They are as follows: John A. Burke, age 47, currently is an inmate in state prison in New York State. James V. Catacamo, age 33, a resident of Tampa, Florida. David DiArpino, age 33, from Howard Beach, New York. Michael D. Finnerty, age 43, from Oceanside, New York. And Guy T. Peden, age 47, from Wantagh, New York. Burke and Peden are charged in a 1991 murder in Queens, New York, and Burke and DiArpino are charged in a 1996 murder also in Queens, New York. Catacamo of Tampa is charged with conspiracy to kill or beat a witness who is going to testify in another organized crime case that was tried here in Tampa back in the fall of 2006. Many members of the media might recall that there was a previous case that went to trial involving some of these individuals in the same crime family a few years ago. During that trial, it was revealed that John A. Light, an associate of the Gambino crime family, had managed a number of valet parking service businesses in the Tampa Bay area. The current indictment also charges that the criminal enterprise members invested some of their ill-gotten gains for the acquisition of interests in other businesses, or investment enterprises as it's dubbed in the indictment, including window or glass businesses, valet parking services, and clubs, and one is identified as Club Mirage, which was located at 3605 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, Florida. As you can see, 5 of the 6 individuals indicted and arrested today are from New York, and 1 individual is from Tampa, Florida. When the Gambino family decided to establish a foothold and start committing crimes here in the Tampa Bay area, it opened itself up to law enforcement scrutiny. Law enforcement began to investigate them, and while investigating the crimes here in the Tampa Bay area, agents and detectives were able to gather significant evidence so as to additional crimes that had gone unsolved for years that had taken place both in the Tampa Bay area and elsewhere. As a result of the hard work of law enforcement, half a dozen crime figures are now in custody and are all facing life in prison if convicted. I believe that the indictment will be handed out to you. It's been unsealed today with the arrests of the individuals, as well as a detailed press release. So at this time, I would turn the podium over to Steve Ibison, Special Agent in charge of the FBI.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to go ahead and quickly thank all those agencies that were involved in this investigation, this complex, detailed investigation, to include our FBI office in New York, Miami, Philadelphia, and obviously here in Tampa. We also had assistance from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, the Tampa Police Department, the New York Police Department, the Queens County District Attorney's Office, the Nassau County District Attorney's Office, and Interpol. Again, I'd like to thank those agencies for the hard work that they put into this case. This case is a great example of the tenacity and the persistence, and the aggressiveness of not only of FBI agents involved in the investigation, but all those other agencies that I just named off, to include our United States Attorney's Office here in Tampa. What should be noted today is when you violate the federal law today, tomorrow or 20 years ago, the FBI and its law enforcement partners will pursue the matter to its logical conclusions. Thank you, and I think we're going to take a few questions.
If you look at this indictment and you look at this news release, you think, holy cow, maybe Bobby, you're the person who talked since you've been here a little longer, you think, holy cow, the mob is alive and well in Tampa Bay. How prevalent is the mob in Tampa Bay?
Well, Don, that obviously is a tough question to answer, because if they were more prevalent, I would hope we'd have more indictments. I think what you have here is you have the Gambino crime family reaching out to Tampa, Florida. So you have a number of New York-related gangsters and mobsters who are coming down to the Tampa Bay area. And this indictment focuses on those individuals, and they're trying to gain a foothold in the Tampa Bay area.
And you tie the threads together a little bit for us about how an investigation into valet parking and irregularities there led to indictments against some of the lead figures in the Gambino crime family.
The details of the investigation are going to be, that we want to release at this point, are going to be laid out in the indictment. I don't want to go any further than outside of the indictment. We'll leave it with that.
But was it that initial investigation into those irregularities in valet parking?
That's one of the matters that started, but there were others.
In many times in these kind of cases, Mr. Ibbotson is correct, we don't want to get into investigative steps, but this has been going on for a long time, and many times in these type of investigations and prosecutions, they're called step, and you go step by step, and the preliminary cases that were brought over almost a 10-year period now have led to the culmination in this indictment.
Can you tell us specifically how long you folks have been working on this investigation?
Obviously, some of the specific acts that are named in the indictment occurred in 1983. So there's been some law enforcement activity or investigation, not only by the FBI but other agencies since 1983. The FBI here in Tampa has been involved approximately 2 years. I did fail to mention before earlier that all five of there's 6 individuals indicted in this matter. 5 are currently in custody. The 6th individual is up in New York, and we're trying to negotiate his surrender at this point. But Mr. Gotti's in custody, and he'll be having a hearing later today in the Southern District of New York.
He'll be tried in Tampa.
Yes, the indictment has been returned in Tampa, both indictments, the one for Mr. Gotti individually and for the other several members, so that the case is set here before the Middle District of Florida.
What is the government's position on bond? Obviously, these crimes were ongoing, were they subject of investigation before? What's the government's position on bond?
As you would know, Steve, a lot of that is going to be dependent on what the backgrounds of each individual is and what they've been doing since then, and the Assistant United States Attorney that will be handling this court will make that determination. I think there's a question. I'm sorry, Katie.
When will the gentleman be brought back?
In the normal course of events, he will have his initial appearance in New York pursuant to statute. The judge there will read him his rights, and he will have the right to a detention hearing and or a bond hearing at that time. He will then be given an opportunity, whether he's held in bond or not, to come down to Florida, and usually they'll give him a date, and there will be a date certain that he has to come down here.
Hold on, excuse me. You've been very patient. Go ahead.
Can you explain why they're being charged in Tampa versus New York?
Yes, because the crimes occurred. This was an investigation emanating from the Tampa Bay area with the Tampa FBI as well as other law enforcement. And so the allegations came here. That's what I was saying. There was a series of cases that led to this indictment, and this is the culmination of that have been occurring in Tampa over the last several years. And so those crimes, it was the acts of the Gambino crime family coming down to Tampa, Florida. If you look at the press release and the indictment, there's a whole number, there's a litany of criminal acts that are detailed.
Can you describe the moment when you said we have the bits and pieces here, that brought it together, so now we can move? Can you describe that moment where you're able to make that decision to move?
Do you want to take this? I would just state there is no moment like that. What happens is law enforcement is continually working these type of investigations, and so what happens is you're continually investigating, interviewing witnesses, talking with law enforcement, and it's the culmination of all that evidence that comes to a point where you return an indictment. But there is no one moment that you can say is the pinnacle of an investigation.
But it was in just recent days then, or weeks, where you just made the decision now
Well, it was at that point the decision was made to present the case to a federal grand jury for an indictment, and that's what occurred in this case.
Was it
Good. I think we're wrapping up right here. I think we're pretty much done for today. Appreciate